Hey everybody, Ron here. It's been a month since I uploaded a YouTube video with an update from my Eberron campaign, and since then, the campaign has ended, so I got a lot to catch up on. First of all, like I mentioned in the previous campaign, they were looking for units, and the characters, I'm just going to summarize here. They did some role-playing, they had some NPCs they dealt with. Septimus had a couple of followers, Ulek of Clan Thrakdul. He went back to Dargoon and got a goblin company. His other retainer, Corellia, is the captain of the Griffin Knights from the Seer that are loyal to him. And so she and a couple of lieutenants went to travel around, trying to find more of them. And they built up that unit, so they had a couple of units going on. Meanwhile, Septimus also has allies in other dragon-marked houses. House Kindaric, Sean Enclave, pledged a unit of Silver Guard, which is basically a security force, but it's an army. Same thing with House Deneath. South Deneath is the Mark of Sentinel, and they have the Blade Marks Guild, which is the Mercenaries Guild. I think that's the guild. And they pledged a unit. And so they had units from Kindaric, they had units from Deneath, they have Goblin units, they have Seer expats, and they have some Undarian assassins. They even got some Gatekeeper Rangers. So the guys started to accumulate an army. But here's the thing. When you are amassing military forces, people tend to know about it. So Septimus got a visit from one of the members of the Brellish Parliament, who was a friend of the family, to warn him of this. And it was going to be a little bit more than a warning, but in an amazing display of dice mojo, natural 20, natural 19, Septimus managed to convince that guy not only was this not going to be trouble, this was a good thing, and to even get the Brellish Parliament to put in a resolution against the Lord of Blades, so that when these military units go marching across Brelin to the edge of the Mournland where they're going to meet the Lord of Blades, that there wouldn't be any problem. And so that's what happened, and it was pretty remarkable, actually. Just the dice timing couldn't have been more perfect. That's one of those things that I really enjoy about running a game, being in D&D, playing D&D, right? Those moments, they're just perfect. All of that was set. The characters stocked their supplies, and all this stuff happened over like 2 or 3 game sessions. So I'm just really summarizing it all, and I mean there wasn't a whole lot of super exciting things that happened. Instead of just making all these individual recaps, they decided to just go ahead and do this to finish it. So they get their army together, do their military analysis, and find out where the walking fortress was coming through the Thornwood, and they moved their forces towards the Thornwood. But it wasn't going to be easy for them to get in there. So one way that they figure that they can get onto the walking fortress is to fly an airship close enough to where they can see a vantage point and teleport in with the Voyager staff that Septimus had. That's where Valera Delirandar came in. She is the captain of the Star's Glory. The players, all of the players have met her before. She was in season 1, flying the airship that they used to get back and forth for a couple of missions. So she came back with one of the players' new characters, went to the assassin to have him do a job. And instead of accepting payment, he's like, you know what? You have an airship. Instead of paying me money, how about you pay me this favor? You fly us into basically in the thick of this battle. And she agreed to that term. The assassin took care of the little job, and so now they had an airship at their disposal. There was a little bit of role playing there, a little clandestine side mission that we had in the session. That was kind of neat. But the main thing was this player's and this character's way to contribute to the resources towards the end of the story. And he was satisfied with that. The table got a good chuckle out of his antics too. So that was fun. So they're on the airship and they fight the clockwork dragon that they had been warned about. Actually, I have it right here. Look at that. One of the players' sons painted this. He did an outstanding job, and so now it's mine. He gave it to me as a gift. But that was the major obstacle to them. And so naturally, if it flew up to the ship, and they had a combat with it. It was a pretty easy combat, which was fine. Actually the intent. It wasn't he wasn't the main draw, but the mini looks neat. They dispatched that, and they were able to get to close to see the courtyard, teleport onto the fortress, and get in. And now was the finale. The Lord of Blades was standing on a landing, and he was normal size. Remember in the previous video, I gave Marv's character a vision of this 15-foot tall version of the Lord of Blades. And that's not what's there, and quite frankly, the player forgot. The players had a good time, a little banter, and the Lord of Blades. First thing he says is, "So I hear that you killed Crisscross." The response from one of the players was, "I was expecting you to be a bit taller. So you're not really the Lord of Blades. You're more like the Lord of Butter Knives. Can I speak to your manager?" Or something like that. And I thought it was pretty funny. There was a little bit of back and forth. He asked Marv one more time, why did she go with these flesh bags? And she was like, because these folks are my friends. What you're doing is evil. And it was an initiative. And then that fight it went pretty well. This was his lair. This was really the first stage of the battle. Back in the Great Hall, the Master Summons was there, which is an artifact that's actually listed in the Eberron book, but I modified it a little bit to suit my purposes, so that it was kind of the brain of the walking fortress, and it helped it walk, and as well as provided an opportunity for the Lord of Blades to go into a pocket ethereal dimension in his true form. So they kill stage 1 of the Lord of Blades. Easy, goes down like a chump. Then he comes out, the real version, and he has some buddies with him, some iron golem looking things. I'm reaching for the Lord of Blades mini. I've showed him on camera before, but once again, I actually had this guy commissioned too. So yeah, he looks pretty cool. I'm really proud of that. And all the while, I know I'm rambling. And all the while, instead of drawing out battle maps, I printed out some digital maps that I had bought, and so that I wouldn't have to draw and everything like that. And they really liked that. It looked pretty impressive, even black and white, even in grayscale. And there was a fight. Septimus, who is a multi-class sorcerer, artificer, shadow sorcerer, put a darkness effect on him. The automatons and Lord of Blades attacked him because he enraged Lord of Blades, and he kept missing. But then when I would try to move away, the paladin would lock him down, would lock the Lord of Blades down. When I tried to cast spells, they would counterspell. So they did a phenomenal job of locking the Lord of Blades down, and I did get the paladin close to 0, and Marv the wizard got close to 0, but in a moment of poetic justice, Marv got the last blow with a lightning bolt and took down the Lord of Blades, and thus ended the reign of the Lord of Blades. Their army routed the Lord of Blades' forces, retreated back into the Mournland, disabled the Master Summon, so the fortress went inert. They never told me what they were going to do with the fortress. But the Brellish army at this point in time showed up. Argonth, the mobile fortress, finally showed up, and Septimus making crack about them being late, just like being slow, just like just like other government agencies and all that kind of stuff. And that was it. In the aftermath, we now have a council of dragon-marked heirs that basically rule Sharn who are serving 5-year terms. They're still your regular council too, but the dragon-marked heirs are on top of Sharn, which is a significant power change, of course. Marv had a reunion with her former master and friend, and who she considers her mother, Pasretta Willarain, and Lassus Brummel. Remember him, the Winter Soldier looking guy? They were all part of the same military unit, and so they had a reunion in Lower Sharn, and that was kind of part of their epilogue. Buck, the kobold assassin, business is seeing unprecedented success. So much so he has a new location of Upper Sean and Patrick of Vavrick. Well, we don't know what he's doing, but like I guess the player can determine that. So that's basically what's the epilogue. I had a whole bunch of fun with the campaign. I'm glad that I ran a campaign that lasted over a year. In the end, it turned out 37 game sessions that were about 3 hours each. I'm willing to do that again, but not anytime soon. I'm going to get a chance to be a player and a Descent to Avernus game. I'm looking forward to that. The next game I'm going to run will not be D&D. It will probably be sci-fi. It might be J-Punk. I don't know, but it'll be short, like a mini campaign, like I typically run 12 to 15 sessions, so I can move on to other things in life. So that's it. Let me know what you folks think. And it is Christmas Eve here, so I wish you folks a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Celebrate whatever holiday in whichever way that you choose. Till next time, see you later.